We decided to go through the roof because as I can do drywall after we do it. It's a very nice house we were at. After we do the drywall, someone's going to know that there was a hole cut in the drywall, basically.
Yeah.
So
it's like when you have a 12-inch scar on your belly from getting like surgery.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No matter what you do, you can't hide it. It's there.
You can't hide it.
Everyone's going to know.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pest Talk, the radio show where we help you out with all pest and wildlife problems. I am your host, Cardon Ellis, with Frank Ortiz.
Holla, holla.
Yeah, wildlife expert in chief. And you know what, Frank? I think right now we're just going to have to jump straight into the phones because this week with the heat, it has been absolutely nuts. So first, we're heading to Santa Clarita. Here's what we're dealing with out there.
Yeah, hi, Pest Talk. This is Brittany with, I live in Santa Clarita, and I'm having a bug issue I'm hoping you can help me with. Literally about to lose my mind. I am so insanely itchy. I don't know what kind of bug it is. I never see them, but I just have so many bites. These red little bites. I would say the majority are probably around like my ankles and on my feet and like around my shin area, so like my lower leg. But then I also have a few scattered around like my abdomen area. Again, just super, super itchy. And they're just red little bites. I'm hoping you can call me back or give me some advice of what to do. I've been putting calamine lotion on. That seems to help, but it doesn't take anything away. And I feel like I just keep getting re-bit. I do have a dog, so I don't know if he has some kind of, pest. My kids, they don't seem to be affected. It's mainly just me. Trying to think of what else that's like pertinent.
This is a long message.
I just really hope it's not
Biting
bed bugs. So if you could just please reach out to me. That would be so helpful. Thanks again, and I hope to hear from you soon. Bye.
All right. So, what'd you think of that? I checked it out. What'd you think?
Dude, the biting insects are my least favorite part of this job. Getting bit, getting destroyed by these bugs is the one thing that just irritates me more than anything.
This summer, it has been so bad. I actually went out to this customer's house, and you know what it was? It was fleas. Fleas. Okay.
Yep.
The Santa Clarita Valley. We're just going to tackle this right now. Are you dealing with the same thing?
Yeah. Fleas. Summertime brings the fleas. Lots of them.
Yeah. So the Santa Clarita Valley is exploding with fleas. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is this year. We always know that it's, runs hand in hand with all the heat.
Yep.
We always know that this time of year it's kind of expected. Okay. But I don't know if it's because they've outlawed so many of these products that used to handle like rats and squirrels and everything like that. I've actually had some doctors calling me, getting referrals from veterinarians because of the fleas that are on all the squirrels that are exploding in the valley. But anyway, I went out to this woman's house, right?
Yep.
And legitimately was having psychosomatic problems.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like these fleas will drive you absolutely nuts.
Instant anxiety attack when they get on you like that. It's the worst.
Okay, so have you? I'll tell you how I fixed and solved her problem, but I want to hear from you. Have you been encountering something similar?
Yes, and you know what? Especially when we do dead animal removals, we get a lot of fleas on there, and they just cover us when we're underneath the house.
Really?
It's bad.
What do you do?
Spray ourselves with a ton of off spray. Just like lather our body up with it until there's just a thick, oily coat over our skin and clothing, and then crawl back under there.
So you got a wildlife license? You're allowed to do that? It's illegal for us to spray ourselves with pesticides.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's actually against the law. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But either way, killing them is not what gives you relief from the itchiness, because you notice, I mean, she was desperate. You could hear it in the phone call.
Yes.
The itchiness. Mm-hmm. You have one trick that you mentioned once about bathtubs.
Showers in the middle of the night. So I can go all day with the fleas, just the normal itching on my skin. It's kind of like just irritating and annoying. But come nighttime, when it's time to go to bed, for whatever reason, they just decide to just like really like swell up and start itching my whole body, and I can't sleep. I'll wake up in the middle of the night. I'll get in the shower, have a scalding hot shower, as hot as I can literally take it, and then I turn the cold on afterwards and let it cool me down, and then I can usually sleep the rest of the night. That gets me enough relief to be able to get a night's sleep.
All right.
Yeah.
So Brittany, if you're out there, super hot shower followed by a cold shower.
Yep.
I'm sure the conservationists out there won't like that use of water, but you know,
Right.
it's a lot better than lathering yourself out there with DEET, apparently.
DEET,
you know what I'm saying?
dude.
So anyway, I showed up to this woman's house, and legitimately she had fleas.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't the worst I've seen.
Okay.
They were everywhere. The worst I've seen was when a skunk died.
Yes.
You know, that was horrible.
Yes, the dead animals bring the fleas, and they just reproduce nonstop. Yep.
So, okay, I've said before I tell you how I solved this problem and then asked you a question like 3 times, but I do have to do this because you're the wildlife expert on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I've never thought about this before, but I can't believe I've never asked this in my 15 years of doing pest control.
Yeah.
But how many fleas are actually on, let's say, a skunk or a raccoon?
Dude, I actually don't know the correct answer to that. But
It would have to be thousands,
there
right?
has to be thousands, because when we crawl underneath that, so we crawl underneath the house and we go under super tight space. We got the light on, and when we get close to it, I can see them jumping off the body, and it looks like there's got to be hundreds of them within like a 6-inch space above that, the dead body, the dead skunk corpse or possum corpse or whatever it is, that are just there going back and forth. So there has to be thousands of fleas on these things. Yes.
Oh, dude.
Yes.
That is so horrible. And have you actually ever seen them? For the first time in my life, when I went and I actually did this flea job, it was a learning experience for Brittany from Santa Clarita.
Right.
But it was also a learning experience for Cardon Ellis,
Yep.
host of Pest Talk as well, because it was the first time when I was filming myself, because I was trying to get, video content for social media, video content for the motion media elements of this show as well. It was the first time I actually saw one biting me,
Oh, okay.
like burrowing in and trying to bite you. You ever seen that before?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Oh man, you always see everything before I do. Like, dang it. One of these times, do you remember that movie National Treasure?
Yeah.
Where there was that one guy who was the non-history geek who remembered once that daylight savings time and the prime meridian like changes the time. So they actually hadn't missed the time or whatever.
Right.
And he was finally just like, wait, so this is what you guys feel like the whole time.
The whole
knowing
time.
Stuff like that. So that's like me. One of these days, I'm going to do something before you do it.
Yeah.
And then, I'm going to be that guy.
Gonna be that guy.
Yeah, from National Treasure.
Yes.
So anyway, so you've seen it burrowing in. What did it look like with you in your experience?
Yeah, I see them. They just, like I'm telling you, I've gone home with hundreds of bites all over my body, like before, from these animals. So when I'm under a house, and sometimes you kind of just got to tough it out so you can get in there and get out and be done, and customer gets the relief that they need, I'll see them on my arm and they kind of stop. You'll see them crawling around, see them jumping a little bit. They stop, and I just kind of see them wiggling a little bit on my arm. Very small amount, but they're just at a dead stop, and it's like a delayed pain that you feel, like a little itch, like a delayed itch that it feels from it. So you don't really know they're biting you until they've already been biting you for a second.
Yeah. With me, what surprised me was I was picking off the fleas.
The fleas.
Okay, because all of us have been the sacrificial lamb.
Yes.
That like when you're trying to, you're not. I'm sure there's probably some rule against this somewhere, but to find out where the fleas are, what better way than to walk around in the yard and just look at your legs
Wherever they jump on you at. Yeah, exactly.
Wherever they jump on you at. So, I think every pest control professional has actually done the use myself as a glue board.
The test dummy.
Yeah, because I've tried putting down glue boards, but it's too small of a surface area. And I swear psychologically, I know that they don't have more than pin-sized eyes.
Right.
But when they see human legs, they think go.
I swear, I'm not even lying to you. If there's a flea within a mile of me, it's going to land on me at some point, and I'm going to start getting bit by it. My wife does not get affected by the fleas. However, if there's one anywhere within a vicinity of us, I'm going to get that flea on me for whatever, and it's going to bite me.
Okay. So my experience with the first time getting bit, I didn't even realize I was getting bit.
Right.
I was picking them off me and putting them actually in a bag for video content because I want to be able to actually, I got this cool microscope where if you put it underneath a microscope, it's hooked up to my iPhone, so I can show the customer like, yeah, so look, this is the thorax, and this is their exoskeleton, and these are their long hind legs that they use, and if their body to height ratio to jump ratio were the same as humans, we could jump over the Empire State Building. Exactly. And all those other like really cool facts that you try and tell customers, and they look at you like, shut up and just get rid of my problems. Get rid of these?
Yes, thank you, but can you just get rid of my fleas?
Yeah.
Please?
So there's probably a bigger problem with me than it is with you. But anyway, I was picking them off of me, and then I thought, dude, what are these dead ones?
Right.
And fortunately, I was videotaping it, so I'll be able to show you, possibly on the video version of this show. For those that are listening on the radio or on podcast, I was actually picking off these fleas, and you can see because they're very elongated dots. If you shrunk, let's just say, actually, you know what they really look like to me? Sesame seeds.
Yeah.
Fleas look like sesame seeds with hind legs.
With little strings, tiny, like just very, very tiny little strings hanging off the back of them as their legs. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So I actually encountered the bite first time myself because my skin never shows any kind of, like, even when I get stung by a bee, it's hard to tell where I've been stung. I've been blessed with just some really, really good skin in that regard.
Yeah.
But I actually was picking off these fleas. I'm like, dude, oh my gosh, they're dead already. But then as soon as I touched them, they started wiggling again. And I realized, oh my gosh, they're burrowing and biting.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why in medieval times they said you flea bitten mongrel.
Right. Right.
Whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, now, I guess, yeah, you're a wildlife guy, so you don't really get, oh no, you just got licensed in pest control.
Just got the
so you actually can get rid of them.
So we will be getting rid of them now.
Okay, do you have a formula you use, or you want to hear mine?
I want to hear yours.
You want to hear mine? Okay, cool. So this is what I did in this case. First, I find out where they are, and then I try and find the animal.
Okay.
We're going to have to circle back to you and figure out how you find the animal.
Yep.
But no matter what, you got to get rid of those fleas. So I have a product that I love using. I like products backed by Bayer, just because, I don't know, they make good aspirin, right? So we actually have,
well-known company, right?
Yeah. My favorite pesticide out there is actually a product called Tempered. But the truth is, and the active ingredient is lambda cyhalothrin and acetamiprid and imidacloprid, which is actually a really good ingredient that you can even find in common store-bought. Some fertilizers that include pest control will actually have it as well. Most gardeners are familiar with that. But I prefer using a product that's either got like some bifenthrin in it if possible, or some imidacloprid for any of you DIY people out there that are actually going to go checking the backs of the jugs, in Home Depot. Cyfluthrin works well as well. But what I do is the label of Tempered is very specific. You have to spray a 10-foot band around the affected area. Okay. And so this has kind of been my solution in suburbia, because unfortunately in suburbia, oftentimes these fleas are in the yards, especially where it's grassed, where maybe they have like a side yard gardenish area or wherever the dogs and the animals are. Like, forget it, and then they will migrate in on the animals or in on the humans and affect where there's carpeted area.
Yeah.
Now, in this case, I didn't have to worry about doing the treatment indoors, so I don't have to go into those examples. But outdoors, the label is very specific. You actually spray a 10-foot band around basically the entire house where you can, until you've used up the amount that you're allowed to per square footage.
And that's 10 foot thick band, not 10 feet from the house, but from the start of the house, 10 feet covering 10 feet back.
I'll check the exact labeling. I just remember it's a 10-foot band.
Okay.
And what I do is if I have a spray rig, and as long as I'm not, going to be spraying some non-target area or something like that, I'll actually dilute down the pesticide, which kind of makes you think like, wait, what? Like, why'd you do that, right? Just because I want to be able to put a higher volume out and just be a little bit more thorough.
Okay.
Because fleas, fortunately, are actually not very hard to kill. And people all the time think that this is a big misconception, especially with DIYers. Okay. And I really hope for environmental reasons that all you DIYers listen to me. All the time they're thinking you need stronger products, and they're always like, oh, what's the best stuff? And the truth is, none of these insects, except for maybe bed bugs, are actually that hard to get rid of. They are very weak. Their strength is in their numbers. You just need to be more thorough. You need to get on your hands and knees. You need to actually be willing to do that 10-foot band. And if you have to pick up your kids' toys and your doggy food bowl and actually clean up all that junk on the side of your house that's been sitting there for 12 months, that the fleas can meander in and out of, well, then you need to actually do it. Okay. So go put on some long sleeve shirts and some pants and clean up your yard. I'm sorry. You can't just buy the $20 version of the $10 pesticide and then hope that, your problem's going to go away. But anyway, so I actually like diluting the pesticide down a little bit. So that then you can be a little bit more thorough, with that 10-foot band. And you're not kind of like worrying like, oh, am I down to a half gallon? Am I down to a third gallon? Do I have to, put some rinse in it? Like I actually like being able to just be thorough with it, knowing that, I'm not using something super potent. And then you can get that 10-foot band around and you just have to blast where they are. And the label actually says to use the maximum concentration, at the very beginning. Just to get faster knockdown. But I found that's not even necessary. If you're just thorough, which is pretty much the name of the game in pest control. You'll hear PMPs, which for those of you who are listening and are first time listeners, that stands for pest management professional. You'll hear PMPs say like, oh, X, Y, or Z is the best for this. And except for like some very specific pests with some very specific chemicals, let me tell you, with some store-bought Orthomax, I can actually get rid of a restaurant's roach problem or somebody else's flea problem faster by just being thorough and knowing where to look, where they're hiding, what their life cycle is, when to come back, so on and so forth. So knowledge truly is more power in this situation than anything else is. But anyway, so I had to spray that 10-foot band practically around the whole house, right? And then she was good for a couple of weeks. Nice. But those egg capsules hatch. Oh, yeah. And they come back. And on the inside, that's why you're always constantly vacuuming. I don't know if you've had that same problem. Yeah. But I try and like make sure that they vacuum, because the crazy thing about most of these insects too, it's not just fleas. It's like there's tons of different biting and parasitic insects out there. What most people don't realize is whether you're buying it at Home Depot or whether it's a professional pesticide, a lot of these are actually adulticides. Okay. They're products that kill the adults.
They're not focused on the eggs or the larvae stage.
Yeah. They can be ovicidal, meaning the residual can be. Yep. But adulticides mean pest control products that are designed to kill the actively mature adult that's bothering you. Okay. Whereas ovicidal products target the reproductive system of these pest populations, inhibiting them from actually maturing. Things like insect growth regulators actually, prohibit them from their exoskeleton growing. There's all kinds of different modes of action to kill these things, and modes of action is the techie term for saying how we skin a cat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But anyway, yeah. The most of these pesticides that you use are actually adulticides. And in theory, if you put down enough of the proper product that is designed for the situation to be safe for the environment and safe for the people. They don't like us using the term safe, but like, proper, because technically there's always some guy in the group that's like, well, water's not safe. You can drown in water. You know what I'm saying? So like for some reason in our industry, safe is a word that like they frown upon. Yeah. But appropriate, shall we say, for children and animals, that as long as you're doing it properly, then these things are designed to function and have them go away. But the theory is that if you put down enough in your treatment, it'll kill what adults it can. And there will be enough of a residual that when the eggs hatch, those adults will come across it. And then those adults will be properly treated as well. But dude, I mean, the Southern California sun is the great equalizer that just toasts everything, and none of these products last, so you don't have to worry about putting out too much.
So let me ask you, know, why do we get fleas in the summer? Because we'll go all winter, all spring, all fall, maybe a little bit in the beginning, towards the end of the spring, and we'll have no fleas, and it's fantastic because all of our wildlife removal work, we really don't have to worry about any fleas. But like almost at the start of summer is just when they come on in full force.
Well, I know that. Well, a lot of it just has to do with the sexual reproductive cycle.
Okay.
I mean, you're not dealing with mammals here.
Right.
Their ability to procreate is a lot more intense. People think that these pests go away. They actually don't. Spiders just migrate inside, and then you don't notice them as much. And also the cool inhibits their activity and their metabolism.
Right.
Like what people don't realize is like bees, for example. Bees, I can't remember if they won't or they don't. I can't remember which one of those words it is properly, but below 55 degrees, they won't fly.
Okay.
And below 77 degrees, they're really not inclined to.
Okay.
If you're removing a beehive that you found with a thermal imager in the middle of January, it's gonna be a totally different situation than the one that's on a 112-degree day in Palmdale or Lancaster.
Right.
All right. So heat helps them metabolize. It also triggers a lot of their, their sexual reproductive hormones and so on and so forth. So I'm sure with fleas, something else is going on there. But either way, yeah, you just got to go up there. And this is one of the few jobs where I think like, just call in the cavalry of professionals.
Yeah.
I am a huge DIY advocate here.
Yes.
But
me too.
you heard her desperation of the itchiness. And I've literally had women just crying, just in tears over not being able to get rid of the itchiness. And if you're that husband out there, dude, you got to call in the cavalry dog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Just do it.
Just
buckle
do
down
it.
and do it. It's all right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're actually going to have to take a brief break here. That's actually a good point to take a brief break here because you got some crazy bat stories.
We got the bat stories.
Yeah, you did
coming
you did a pretty wild bat job.
Just recently, yeah.
Just recently, and actually we want to hear about this.
It's
so anyway,
fantastic.
Don't touch that dial, guys. We are going to be back in a minute with Frank Ortiz's crazy bat story, how to get rid of bats, and we actually have those all over Santa Clarita. So I'm excited to hear about this.
Yes.
One, I swear it was coming after me while I was walking my dog in the park.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I swear it came too close for me to think I was not getting hunted.
Yeah.
So I want to know what's going on with these bats. This is Pest Talk. See you guys in a minute. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Pest Talk. I am your host, Cardon Ellis, or actually, we are your hosts of Pest Talk. I am Cardon Ellis, and this is Frank Ortiz of Wildlife Management. Actually, you are the Wildlife Manager.
The Wildlife Manager.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're advanced. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
yeah. So anyway, you did a crazy bat job this week.
Yes.
And there's been a big hullabaloo about trying to keep bats from spreading COVID.
Yeah.
Which was pretty interesting. I hadn't even thought about the bat removal guys having to suit up for that because we were worried about that actually having come from bats or not.
Right.
So just like all good stories have a preamble, all good pest control activities usually start out with some kind of message. So here, let's go to the message real fast.
Hey, I was looking to talk to somebody there about got some bats that are coming in through the side of my chimney, and I've been trying to figure out if there's something that I could just do to get rid of them. But everything that I've done, I've put a couple of little scary things up there, but they keep pooping everywhere, and I've cleaned up the poop so many times, and I'm just really in desperate need of some help, some professional help on getting rid of these bats. There are so many of them. I can't seem to see them because it's so dark in there, but there is so much poop. Please, please, please call me. I really need help.
Yes.
He was a humble guy.
He was a humble guy, man. You should have seen how much poop there was outside of his fireplace. I mean, there was a pile on the ledge of the fireplace that was a good 3 inches tall. And then there was one on the ground below that had to be 6 to 8 inches tall. Just bat guano built up. Really? Insane amounts of droppings. Yeah.
Okay. Well, first off, before we jump in there, how can you, okay. So guano. Let's talk guano real fast.
Yeah.
Bat poo.
Yep.
So I keep on hearing that that's worth a lot of money, and it's one of Peru's major exports.
Oh, it's really?
Yeah. When I was studying actually Iberian and South American history as part of my Spanish major.
Yeah.
I remember that one of the maximum exports of Peru is bat guano.
Wow.
I was wait, what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What a thing, right?
Yeah. What a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to look this up live while you're talking. How much is bat guano worth? You know what I'm saying? But keep going. So how'd you address the situation? How could you tell it wasn't just like mouse poop or cricket poo or anything like that?
Something else. Well, we get those calls all the time, right? People call us and they're like, hey, we got like rats, we got mice somewhere around our house. They're in the entryway. I keep, sweeping up these droppings and they keep showing back up and it just looks like rat droppings. So we're like, okay, so we'll get out there and we'll check it out. And it's actually bats, and their droppings or their guano looks extremely similar to mouse or a rat dropping. And if someone doesn't know the difference, the specific things to look for in it, they would have no idea what they're dealing with.
Dude, Dr. Earth bat guano, my man. Look, for those of you who are watching online, the motion version of this radio show, Dr. Earth bat guano at walmart.com is $53.81 for 1.5 pounds. That's
a lot.
That's like $30 a pound for poop.
That's a lot, dude.
That's a lot of money. Dude, I want to get some bat boxes in my backyard and start selling
save it up, right?
Yeah.
Pest Talk's bat guano services.
Pest Talk guano. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Okay, so does it just have a unique look or what? What'd you do? Like, how'd you tell and how'd you handle the situation?
So we'll come back to the way the bat droppings look. But we get there to this house, we check it out. They've looked in the attic. They couldn't see anything. They had some other companies out there. I asked the customers, hey, has anyone identified the actual bats? And they're like, no, they don't see them in there. They're in an area of the ceiling where you can't get to. So they have like a partially vaulted ceiling, meaning that it's not fully vaulted and there's about 8 inches of space. So you can't crawl back there with a flashlight. You could take a peek. So I get up in there. I have the video footage of this, and I look back and there they are. Just a group of them hanging off the joists in the attic. So I see them. Smells horrible, right? It smells really, really bad in there.
Does it have a unique smell, like when you walk into a restaurant and there's German cockroaches and you can just smell them?
Yeah, it kind of has like a chemically smell, like a little like tight, like similar to like an ammonia type smell. And you'll for sure know, but it's like, I don't know, it's like dirty ammonia, I guess you could say. So
okay,
we do it. We identify it. So this was like a severe situation. It had been going on for a long time, and the people never go on the side of their house, so they didn't notice that it was even there. So these bats have literally been living there rent free for, I would estimate, at least up to a year's time.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I guess you wouldn't really hear them like you hear rats or wildlife in your attic, right?
You wouldn't hear them.
Dude, have you ever seen the University of Florida's bat house when it clears out?
No.
Oh, dude.
I want to see that, though.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, we are going to be doing this in real time really fast.
Yes.
But it's the University of Florida. Like, I'm pretty sure that if you just Google University of Florida bat cave or bat shed or whatever, it's literally become a worldwide tourist attraction. Those of you guys who are watching online can actually see on your screens right now, there are these massive elevated sheds, and there's 3 of them. And they're probably like 2,000 square foot each. I mean, these are like those elevated swamp houses that you get,
insane.
It's literally the size of a houseboat.
How many of those do they have there? Is it just those 3? I mean, just those 3. They're massive.
Yeah, no, they're massive.
Yeah.
But like, I'm going to turn the volume down here so it doesn't blow everybody's ears out. But look, this is the inside of the bat barn of the University of Florida. All right. That is the inside of the bat barn that you can see right there. Okay. I mean, literally thousands of bats.
Yes.
It looks just like Christian Bale with the special effects.
Yes.
In Batman, right?
Yeah.
And then like, then when it's time to go out and eat, all right, this is a video taken from 2017. These are the bats leaving the bat house. All right, full blown.
Oh my God.
And for like 15 minutes straight, these bats come out. I mean, look at that. It looks like a nuclear, not waste. What's it
looks like the horror movie The Crows.
Yeah.
So the crows are just turning the sky black, right? They're just everywhere. People are running, screaming, terrified.
When the silos on nuclear power plants, that's the word I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So when the silos on nuclear power plants are just steaming like crazy and everybody thinks it's smoke.
Right.
Yeah. Imagine those as just like a black plume of bats. And that's what the University of Florida bat situation is looking like. So anyway, okay, you go to this person's house.
Yeah.
And they have bats living for a year. So there was what, like 30, 40, 50 of them in there? How many?
You know what? I never got my eyes on all of the bats. When I was in there in one of the areas, which I know it wasn't it, because they tend to stay fairly close to the entry point that's on the hole. That's from the exterior of the house, right? So in the bats I was seeing were about like 3 feet from that entry point, and they only had about 4 inches of space between the insulation and the inside of the roof. So I counted 8 of them right there. Saw them. I just gave out. I went out and assessed the situation and went over the process with the customers, and we went ahead and we did it. So what we did first is we actually used bird netting. Right. And we covered the hole with bird netting and left it loose enough to where they could crawl out and they would be able to leave, but long enough to where they wouldn't be able to get back in afterwards. So we left it for a week.
Like a crawdad or a lobster trap?
Kind of similar to that. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Exactly. So we leave it for a week, and then we went back afterwards and we went in the attic. We just looked around to see if we saw any of them, and they were all gone. So what we did at that point was we could have cut the drywall in her bathroom out, or we could have went in through the ceiling because she had tiled roofs. So we decided to go in through the roof because...
Oh, were those roof pictures you were showing me?
The roof pictures.
Oh, that was like major surgery.
Dude, it was severe surgery on this house. Yeah, it was epic. So we decided to go through the roof because I can do drywall after we do it. It's a very nice house we were at. After we do the drywall, someone's going to know that there was a hole cut in the drywall, basically.
Yeah.
So
it's like when you have a 12-inch scar on your belly from getting like surgery.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. No matter what you do, you can't hide it. It's there.
You can't hide it.
Everyone's going to know. So, so we cut the roof open. I would say we cut about a 3-piece by about a 9-foot in length section of a roof out. We removed all the tiles, cut out the waterproofing paper, and then we cut the plywood open so we could expose it. And we removed all the insulation in that section. And we've filled up our shop vac twice with bat droppings.
Hey, wait. Okay, well, if it's $53 for 1.5 pounds,
dude, that's not even it. Because the week prior to that, we had another similar bat job that we did, and we had another. So we really could have been quite wealthy off these 2 bat jobs, Guano. I wish you would have shown me that prior to these things, man. We would have saved all this, bagged it up. So yeah, we removed it. We vacuumed all the feces out. We used our fogger. We disinfected it. We deodorized it. And thankfully, when we removed the ceiling and got everything out, there were actually no bats left. They had all left. So, still not 100%.
Because you're not allowed to. Are you allowed to touch them? But you don't want to, because people are always talking about rabies with bats.
Yeah, so bats are one of the carriers of rabies, but it's actually a pretty low percentage of bats that actually carry rabies. But they are said to be one of the primary carriers of it. Yeah, of them.
Wow, and that is a disease. I've heard from some doctors. They say like that's one of the few diseases where they say you just hope that it takes you. Like I'd hate to, be insensitive to anybody that's dealt with any of that rabid scenarios with humans. But from what I understand, it just, what it does to your brain, creating like a swelling and a viral attack of the brain. They say it like you're like trapped in your own body because it like somehow, I can't remember what it does, but the survival rate's really low. And if you do survive, it's like the permanent damage is just brutal.
And if you do get bit by an animal and you think it might have rabies, or you just don't want to take the chance, you can go get a shot for it. But it's like a thick shot right to the belly, and it hurts.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, are you speaking from personal experience?
No, not myself. I have yet to have to do that. But one of the guys I used to work with in my earlier days of animal trapping and wildlife removal, he got bit by an animal, and he went in and got the shot just to be safe. And he said it was pretty painful to have it done.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that the one they call the peanut butter shot?
I think maybe, yeah. Went right to his gut, dude. He said it was big, right into his stomach.
Wait, but why his gut?
I'm not sure why his gut. I think that's where it activates. I think it goes through the fat cells quicker, right? I think it absorbs through the fat cells. I believe. I might be wrong. If
that's going to be put on the long list of questions we ask a doctor.
We're going to have to ask the doctor, right? Yeah.
We're going to get a doctor on this show one of these days. And he's probably going to think, who are these weirdos?
Who are these guys?
And why are they, hey, so what shots travel through fat tissue fastest? We're like reverse junkies.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out. Well, so before you continue and finish talking about technically how you fixed it up, you'd mentioned in the green room when we were doing pre-show that at the beginning of COVID, you actually had all of these crazy restrictions because it was bats I hadn't even thought of. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So some of the associations we're a part of were posting articles about the precautions that us as wildlife removal technicians were supposed to take when we're dealing with the bats, because COVID was said to come from bats, correct, in the beginning. So they didn't want us to be that were potential carriers of it to spread it to our native bat species. So we needed to suit up, gloves, mask, goggles, respirators, everything. Even if we're coming in any close proximity to the bats, they wanted us to do that because they did not want us
that
to
was
pass
back
it
when
on.
Facebook was getting rid of people when they were saying it came from the Wuhan lab,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, right at the beginning of all
yeah,
of
but
that.
now that's like, all of our conspiracy friends were right,
All the conspiracy theorists are sitting back like,
just
told
like
you
it
guys.
used to be that everybody was like, dude, there's this worldwide cabal of people who go to an island in the Mediterranean, and there's this dude named Jeffrey Epstein who runs this secret ring, and everyone's like, shut up.
Yeah,
Next thing you know,
do
he's
that.
in jail. Next thing you know, he's in jail.
Dude.
And he just happened.
He happened to hang himself.
He just
in
happened.
jail. Yeah.
You know what I'm
and
saying?
the cameras cut out while
You know
he
what
did it. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
no evidence.
So we were legitimately worried, but that does kind of make sense because obviously there was, I can't remember if they did properly correlate swine flu with actual swine, but there was obviously mad cow disease.
Right.
There's hantavirus with rodents. There's tons of diseases that will affect a wildlife population that can transfer over to a human population that you legitimately have to worry about.
And the bats are crucial, right? We need them. Like, we need the bats. That's why they're protected, because we need them so bad. So yeah, the COVID's a zoonotic disease, and it's said to come from bats. So they wanted us to protect.
That's a great word.
Yeah.
Zoonotic?
Zoonotic disease.
Man, there it is again. You're knowing
Yes.
something before I do. It just blows my mind. Zoonotic. That's a pretty awesome word.
Yeah.
Well, here's my last question before you finish. Are the common bats in California, they're not endangered, are they?
No, I don't believe they're endangered.
Yeah, I was going to say,
But they're protected.
They're protected.
Super protected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that makes sense, but also they're not a crazy pest population, right?
No, I wouldn't say they're a crazy pest population, but we've been doing a lot of bats.
Really?
Yeah. We've been getting at least one call a week, at least, and probably more.
And that's for people that actually know that they're dealing with bats.
They know that they're dealing with bats. Yeah.
So this is something I'm personally interested in, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners are.
Yeah.
I straight up want to have a bat box in my backyard.
Oh, yes.
Because they are the best.
Dude, we've removed them from people's walls where they're going in through little crevices. So if you guys don't know, if you guys have droppings on your entryways, you see little rat droppings, look up. If you see some brown residue, oily stains around any type of hole, you probably have bats, or you can just have a bat hanging up in the ceiling. But people have us get the bats out of their house after we install a bat house for them because they want them around.
Yeah.
You want to hear something crazy?
Yeah,
about
dude,
the bats?
That's what this show is about.
Okay. So this is a few weeks, the beginning of June, we did this job. Gentleman calls us out. He just bought this house and they have the worst smell in their house. He's like, we have a horrendous smell in our house. I need you to come check it out. It's bats. The people they bought it from knew what was going on. They knew the bats were there, and the way they went about having bats was, we want them in our house and we give them a place to live. They kill off the insects in the area. But
it's like the weirdos that actually want to, quote, keep the spiders around.
Yes.
Because they think that it's somehow eliminating like the fly population. And it's like, no.
Thousands of dollars of restoration work later to solve this issue and make sure your house doesn't smell like bat guano. Yeah. We ended up doing that too. Cut the roof open, got all the bats out, cleaned up. And this one had, I call them guano cakes, right? Because they're just solidified rocks of bat droppings, and they're turned gray because they were there for so long. So they were just there, and we fished them out. And it was so bad because the way this house was, we couldn't vacuum them all out. So we had to blow them out. But the house, they blew into the house. We plasticked the house prior to that to catch everything. But there was a lot.
Wow.
It was great.
So I'm sure a lot of our listeners, like me, love the bats. I think bats are awesome.
They're awesome.
I've been fascinated with them since I was a kid. Batman was actually my very first Halloween costume.
Nice.
And it was more for the bats than the comic book character, if I'm honest with myself.
Yes.
Just like my buddy Justin, who was like all about dinosaurs and was a dinosaur for like 7 Halloween straight, you know?
Yeah.
I think I was a Batman 2 or 3 times. Okay. Yeah. But anyway, bats intrigue me as animals, and I want to build a bat box.
Yeah.
So in the next 60 seconds, what do we say to all of our listeners out there that, you know, they want to help out with ecology, help out with Mother Nature, building a bat box, keeping bats? I don't know. I don't know what the term is. Like beekeeping is keeping of bees.
Right.
Bat
keeping.
keeping. I don't know if that's
Bat housing, bat keeping.
Yeah. So if we want a bat house, what do we do?
You can just type in bat house online and they can order one, or they could take a look at it and build their own. If you're handy and you want to just rather go spend a couple bucks on some, maybe a couple $100 on wood now, right? The way the prices are right now, maybe a few hundred to build a shoebox. You can build your own and you can hang it up outside, but you need to have bats in the area. You might be able to purchase some type of attractant and put it in the house. That might help them get in there, but it's a lot easier if you already have some bats.
All right. So I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this.
Do it.
Okay. Is it about a shoebox that you make it, or
maybe 2 side-by-side shoe boxes. Depends how many bats there are, but yeah, it's relatively thin. It's not super big.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Rock on. Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I wish I had some kind of pun for bats.
Yeah.
Like bat in a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, you know, I'm a dad now, so I have to shamelessly say
next
dad
that
jokes.
bat, right?
Oh, dude, there we go. And this is radio. It is kind of a boomer medium, so we could totally do like, you know, boomer jokes about, you know, a bat in a minute or whatever you want to say. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, the show you're listening to is Pest Talk. I'm your host, Cardon Ellis with Unipest, Termite and Pest Control. And you've also been listening to Frank Ortiz
with advanced wildlife removal.
Oh, right. I always say advanced wildlife management. Just poor articulation.
Management sounds super professional, though.
Yeah, that does. That does.
Yeah.
And I'm glad this is radio because you are far better looking than me. You know, so most people can't see that. And it's also why I keep the camera on me during the video section. But if you guys have had problems with your own fleas, like we had in the first segment, or you think you're having problems with bats, I mean, it looks like you guys know who to call.
Call us.
Yeah, call us. And if any of these problems are plaguing you and you want us out there and would like to be featured on the show, leave us a message.
Yeah.
Because every single one of these segments starts with a message. Anyway, any last words before we cut to break?
No, that's it.
Okay, I'm just going to end it right here and cut straight to commercials.
Let's do it.
This is Pest Talk. Bat next week.